Hello world. Hi. There we go, much better. A professional outfit, to be sure. This consummate professional goes by the name of DM Dan. Hello, welcome. Explorers of Elsewhere Live are currently fortnightly Daggerheart Actual Play campaign that was never intended to be a campaign, but it just kind of turned into one.
Pretty much.
Hello, gathered players. Hello, Nate. Hello, Nate. Hello, Livy.
Hello.
Hello, Georgia.
Hello.
Hello, Dan.
Oi.
Hello, not Cal, bloody hell. Hello, Theo.
Hello.
How are we all doing on this fine day?
Good.
Good.
Amazing. I would wager that we players are doing better than our characters off the back of the last episode, of the last live stream, because they've had a bit of a rough time, have they not?
Little bit.
Little bit. I think we're overreacting.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare for everyone involved. You've been to a volcanic wasteland. You've kind of spelunked through dusty crypts and time itself. You've come a cropper of a big mean wizard who's stolen your doodads and left you stranded, and you've had a big old Barney with each other. Tensions were a bit fraught, but you've all thrashed it out. Everything's simmered down, and you have been called back to action.
Mm-hmm.
How we feeling about that call back to action?
Nervous.
Right.
Tentative.
Sure, nothing will go wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Simple.
Nothing at all. Yes. So, well, you at least you've made it out of Merathesos in one piece.
Yep.
So we are ready to crack on with our fourth live stream. We're near the end. I would be very interested to see you through to the end. If you're watching this live, hello, welcome. Please say hi in chat to keep us entertained while we keep you entertained, hopefully, over on Twitch and on YouTube. Hello. If you're enjoying this, make sure to hit like buttons, to hit follow buttons, to hit subscribe buttons, because there's loads and loads of stuff like this coming out all the time. We won't want you to miss out. So with all that said, shall we jump to an intro and then crack on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's do it.
Do it.
All across the unknown world, rediscovery pushes ever onwards to find the lands and people lost. All thanks to our brave explorers.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm playing Vanya, the Wolfkin Warrior.
Hey, I'm Livy. I'm going to be playing Rayri, the Sprite Ranger.
Hi, my name's Theo and I'm playing Cal, the Sangvar Guardian.
I'm Georgia, and I will be playing Alfric Stormhorn, a Dragon Scent Bard.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Azakar, a Majani Seraph.
And my name is DM Dan, the GM in these adventures. The further we go, the more we learn of these magical tales from elsewhere. And so, we rejoin the five of you as you step through a silvery portal, a silvery rend in the fabric of reality that transports you from the volcanic blasted wastes of Merathesos to the carefully constructed and well-maintained streets of Avermore. Following behind the silver-haired Lorivar Archmagister Meridius, you feel the temperature of the air immediately change the moment you step through this magical barrier from one place to another. And whilst like for some of you who perhaps aren't a bit who acclimatise a bit too much in Merathethos, the sudden chill, well, the comparative chill in the air sends a shiver down your spine. But as you kind of as you get your bearings, as you take in your surroundings, you notice that the Archmagister hasn't kind of paused for ceremony, and is already kind of walking with purpose. And he turns to you over his shoulder and, "I need you to tell me everything that happened," he says, as he beckons you to follow him.
Are we out in public?
Currently, yes. So,
Yeah.
you are in the Crown. You're looking around. You notice that you are in the Crown District. So in the north-east-ish corner of Avamore, near where the kind of mages reside, near the concourse. Fundamentally, like where the start of all of your adventures begin. Actually, you know what? We'll retcon that. You emerge into what appears to be like a large circular tower. I say large. It's about 20 to 30 feet in diameter. And strangely, it looks as if you just have a clear line of sight across the rooftops of the city. But Azakar, as you sort of like step from one foot to another, you see the kind of the illusory shimmer, which is concealing the stonework of the sides of this tower, and you realise it's just an illusion to make it invisible, to give a better, more aesthetic panorama of the city. But yeah, as you glance down, you notice that you're in one of the sort of like, in inverted commas, private spires of the concourse in the Crown District. So yeah, you can see that there are people kind of buzzing to and fro. There's a relatively steady stream of citizens coming out of the concourse grounds, as you can see what appears to be the morning sun beginning to rise over the horizon. So you would imagine that these are like traders from the various established expedition towns coming into Avamore to begin their day of trade. But yes, so Merry kind of steps away from the portal, and then, you know, with his hands clasped at the small of his back, he peers over his shoulder at you. "Tell me everything that happened."
Well, it appears that our mission was to lead Gannis to this temple, but he fooled us. It was not, his plans were to deceive us. There was some sort of arcane mana crystal apparatus that it was obvious that he wanted to obtain, and he pulled us into what we can only tell as a mirage of the past, and I'm guessing to power this crystal. And
Meridius, you see him sort of like pursing his lips. What expressions are the five of you wearing in your faces as Azakar recants the tale of what happened in the Temple of Naravid? Like what expression is etched on your faces? Starting with Cal.
I think Cal's wearing his usual face, but there's a lot more intense. I think he's like not nodding with a very stern kind of ready to continue sorting Gannis out kind of face.
Okay. Vanya?
And I think Vanier, he's not super affected by this conversation. If anything, there might be a slight pang of general guilt for being the one who was with Gannis at the time.
Mhm.
But he's also very quick to just press on, and he is mulling out. There is a sense that he might be mulling over something, but what that something is, I'll later reveal. But yeah, it looks like he's thinking about something, but it doesn't look like he's pained by this conversation too much, or especially concerned, because he is part of being an explorer who got to continue.
What about Alfric?
I think Alfric is kind of a mixture of shamefaced and that kind of expression a child gets when they've just been told off by someone, sort of like the beginnings of slight belligerence. But mostly he looks ashamed of how badly that went.
Riri?
Are we walking and talking?
No. Meridius is, for all intents and purposes, very Star Trek captain on the bridge, just stood like he's turned his head back from looking at you over his shoulder and he just seems to be sort of like taking in the vista of the city of Avamore.
Okay. Yeah, I think Rari's just kind of like she wants to like put in what she thinks are important details. Like, it was hot, it was big, there was things. Vinny gave Azakar a ride, but every time she just sort of is looking at Azakar's face, and he's just so serious that she's like, so yeah, just kind of it's not the time for her to do what she wants to. I think she's aware that it's quite serious, and Azakar's quite angry about the whole situation. So,
okay, and finally, yeah, Azakar, what's on your face again as you tell what expressions on your face?
I think he's gone back into sort of a very composed state. It's almost more comfortable that he is now being given orders and being told what to do, rather than the very chaotic situation of what we've just been through. So I think he is now feeling almost like a comfort in the fact that he has been given an order to tell what's happened, and he's trying to recall it as best as he can.
Okay, so in which case, like these expressions on your faces, as like Meridius turns his body to face you, he's still adopting this kind of very authoritative, personal position of power, posture of power. But you watch as his like silver eyes just kind of glance across each of your faces in turn, just for a split moment, and seeing some of the colours of guilt or kind of regret or shame or whatnot. He sort of like, he closes his eyes and there's a look of frustration on his own face. I implore you, please, to not take this turn of events to heart. You were not the only ones deceived by the actions of Archmage Gannis. Clearly, we have, he says, and you get the impression he means like the royal we underestimated him. This past, that you mentioned, you ventured through this mirage, he says, turning back to you, Azakar. What was happening in it? Why all of this? There must be some rhyme or reason to the smoke and mirrors of dragging 5 explorers to the ends of elsewhere to this specific place. What happened there?
What was it was Naravid, was it? The temple?
Nerevid, yeah.
Temple to Nerevid. The temple to Nerevid. It was. We were taken back to, obviously, a period where the divine soldiers came and took over the temple, took control of the Betrayer's actions.
The mirage was of the war.
Yes. From what I could tell from the brief time, maybe even very close to the eschaton.
And you mentioned that you were tasked with empowering some sort of crystal that he then escaped with, he says, and he turns to you, Vanya. You say that this crystal was charged when he left.
Yes, I think so. Don't really understand magic too much, but in this dreamscape, we spoke to a priestess who explained that we weren't really physically there, but in order to return to our original place, we had to charge up the crystal, and that's when we saw the events unfold between the two sides within this church temple place.
Meridius, like, his brow furrows as he kind of pinches his bottom lip in thought, and then you hear him sort of like mumbling and muttering to himself. Those more astute of you hear snippets of what he's kind of saying. The snippets being, it sounds like he's saying, the latent arcane mana transported through this memory, through time. And then he looks back up to you, and this mirage, was it identical to where you were? It seems sensitive to your location.
Yes.
And they could see us. We could interact with the people in there.
It would seem then that these adherents of Nerevid, perhaps they were toying with the transference of mana through arcane ley lines, but on a temporal level, perhaps. This is worrying, to say the least. Did you get any indication of if Gannis had any help, or was he operating alone?
What was the god that the dragon spawned? What was the dragon spawn's name again?
Iron.
So I think it was Vanya or Cal correctly identified the dragon spawn in the temple as one of the brood of Wender High.
That's it, yeah.
The Beguiler.
We believe that Gannis had influence from Wenderhide, and that either this dragon spawn that was there is either in control or of Gannis or working alongside him.
Did any of you manage to catch the name of this dragon spawn? And he said as he looks to all of you in turn.
No, but he was really long. Had a really long body. Oh, thank you. Really long body. It was like this.
Vanya was in company with the dragon spawn in the memory, but me as a player can't remember of the dragon.
I would suggest that the eagle-eyed Archmagister, as he looks from face to face, he looks to you all in turn, and then there's something that makes him return his attention to you, Alfric. There's something about your face that says perhaps you might know the name of this individual, this dragon spawn that you saw.
Alfric probably does. Georgia can't.
No, that is fine. Yeah, Alfric, you like in the face of Meridius's question, because you and seemingly this draconic entity had quite a little chat.
We had a tete-a-tete.
You did, and you know that the dragon, as in the chat there, is called Eindrith. Specifically, so Eindrith, the dragon spawn that the spirit of the dragon spawn that was sealed in that black circlet in Archmage Ulick's mansion in your hometown of Seldafon. But yeah, Mary's looking at you because there's just something in your... There's a twinkle in your eye.
Dodgy look in that dragon boy's eye.
You're shuffling a bit too much.
He definitely is. That he can't keep a secret to save his life. I think he under this stare, he sort of he kind of melts. It's Eindrith. I think.
Meridius, like, there's a flash of surprise and shock on the Archmage's face. Sorry, did you say Eindrith?
Yes.
He looks to you for a moment, and what Eindrith was... I never personally met the entity known as Eindrith, but I know that one of our number, whom the five of you are partially familiar with, had dealings with him during the war. I remember Archmage Ulick regaling us with tales of how he managed to defeat Eindrith at the height of his power.
Oh yeah, we saw him in the dream too.
You saw Archmage Ulick?
Yeah. And Eindrith. Because I kind of half spoke. Funny enough, now that you say that, when we came out of this dream and then kind of did disappear, and then we were just lost in the wilderness, I did hear this. I think it was Eindrith's voice in my head, trying to mess with my mind, but he wouldn't be around at this period, would he? Is he Ganis? Is Eindrith Ganis? Are they both the same thing?
Did anyone else hear voices besides from our own?
I heard something.
A little voice.
Thank goodness, I thought I was the only one.
Azakar's gonna turn back to the Archmage and say, before we split up in the temple, before we entered the Mirage, Ganis used his magic to have a sort of communicative chat between the five of us, between the six of us. It may be very much that Ganis may still be in our heads.
As you say this, you've been watching the colour draining from Meridius's face as it becomes apparent that you've all been sort of whispered to by this dragon spawn called Eindrith. And then as you kind of mention, oh yeah, we did a mind link, Meridius looks at you wide-eyed, and then he reaches a hand out and a scarf materializes from thin air and kind of lands in his palm, and he aims the crystal end towards the five of you, and there's a flash of white light that like dazzles and blinds you. And like it feels like there are little sparks of lightning kind of rippling across your cheekbones and sort of like down across your down your neck and across your collarbones and into your body. And like after these moments of discomfort, everything kind of returns to normal, but you notice that your minds sound quieter. Like someone's closed the door to a windy exterior. Meridius takes a breath, and if Gannis was listening, he no longer has the opportunity. But if this voice that you were hearing, was it Gannis's?
No, it didn't sound like Gannis's.
Sounded draconic, like Eindriff's voice from my memory of him in the dreamscape.
Okay. If we are to assume that Gannis and Eindriff are working together, if Gannis were able to communicate with you via mind link, which then allowed your minds to be infiltrated by Eindriff, then it would stand to reason that Gannis and Eindriff are perhaps sharing the same consciousness, the same body. Perhaps the spirit of Eindriff was not defeated by Archmage Ulick. For whatever reason that may be, this spirit has lingered. How it has been freed, Meridius pauses. Perhaps with the death of Archmage Ulick not that many weeks ago, perhaps that has freed, broken the prison, broken the hold that was keeping Eindriff contained. Gannis and Eindriff now have a charged magical artifact. They seem to be... They drew you to a location with a prominent memory, one of a confrontation between Ulick and Eindriff. The question now is where we think they're going next. Meridius sort of like goes quiet, and he lifts his fingers to his forehead, closes his eyes, and those of you versed in like magecraft know that he's probably sending a psychic message of sorts, like ascending to someone else. And he there's a silence for a few seconds.
Are you alright? Have you got a headache?
And then he lifts a finger to shush you. And then his hand slowly lowers away from his face. And he looks, you notice, directly at Alfric. Gannis was seen heading into the concourse portal towards Seldavon. Seldavon was the location of the final confrontation between Archmage Ulick and the Dragonspawn. Whatever their plans are, I suspect it has something to do with that battle. We need to hurry, he says. And Meridius, begins walking back towards you before veering off to the sort of like rounded staircase that leads down from this observation platform. Alfric, what's going through your head knowing that this mage is heading to your hometown?
I think sort of various very panicked swear words. I just go...
So, are Are you following the Archmagister?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but quickly, briefly, Vanier turns to Azakar. Quick moment to say, "Are we good, Azakar? I know we had a little help there, but I need to know going forward that you got my back, and as I will have yours."
You have my blade. We are good.
And he lifts up a hand for the old locking arms.
As a
You have my coordinates.
He sort of looks at your hand and goes, and kind
We
of
are
figures it out.
explorers.
He figures it out.
He kisses the back of it.
Grapples hands with you.
We did this down in the caves.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He bows. He bows to you.
So, as the two of you sort of like reconcile and then hurry to catch up, you notice that there is significantly more urgency in Meridius's walk as he kind of winds down this mage tower out onto sort of like the public street or the public square in front of the concourse building. And to paint you a picture, the concourse building in itself is this large circular building with a sort of like a domed roof. The center of the dome is a very elaborate like glass ceiling. Those who've kind of looked into it will have found out that the building that the concourse now occupies used to belong to one of the Asavari high houses, one of the ones who still pledged loyalty to Aya during the war, and in the establishment of the explorers and Avamore as sort of like the home capital. The building has been commandeered for the construction of all of these portals to the various expedition towns. Mary sort of like walks with you through the large kind of fairway into the concourse. So you know that the concourse, where it's this round building, it's got these mage towers stuck on the outside. The building is fundamentally sort of like ring shaped, and there's a large kind of common area in the middle underneath the glass ceiling. And you can see that there are a number of like traders and like citizens just kind of milling about and sort of like exiting from the concourse in the morning traffic. Sort of like Meridius is fundamentally driving a wedge through the crowds as he leads you in. We need to get you to Seldavon to find out what Gannis is doing. We have whatever he's planning cannot be good for Seldavon, for Avamore, for anyone. Eindrith was a master manipulator. Part of Ulick's bragging was how his stoic, steely mind protected him from the dragon's whispers. But I have a horrible feeling that if he is being drawn to such an important location, if Eindrith is being drawn to an important location within his own history, with this artifact that you've charged up from an impossible place in the past, the plan will positively be diabolical. And as you kind of walk across the circular common area towards the northeastern section of the ring where the portals are kept, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's pop down your tokens. Meridius fundamentally, effectively walks you to the door of the concourse ring where the portals are, and with a look of determination on his face. Go to Seldavon. Find Gannis. Do whatever you need to do, but stop him. Do not let Eindrith reincarnate, he says. I need to speak to the other Archmagisters. This may run far, far deeper. If Gannis may only have been the first of many. I expect good news from you next time I see you, he says. And his face softens momentarily. Good luck, explorers, he says. And he turns and hurries away. As you enter in to the concourse ring, you see that there are a couple of sort of like civilians loitering around. You know that the concourse is still somewhat the concourse itself is, for all intents and purposes, only a couple, like 5 months old at most. But you can see that immediately in front of you is the large kind of circular dais with the arched portal that's on, flanked by 2 concourse portal guards in their kind of telltale uniforms. They don't look any particularly special to you, given that you've used these portals very, very many times. But yeah, they sort of like they nod at you as you enter. In front of you, there are 2 kind of chattering goblin, like older goblin women, and one of them says, "What's taking so long? It's only been open a few months and these portals are awful." She's kind of whinging, and then she turns and goes, "I bet you're going to get in front of us at all," she says, as she looks at the 5 explorers that have just turned up.
Yes, we are.
And one of the portal guards, also a goblin woman, she sort of like steps over, seeing this sort of like discontent, and now dears, she says, she's kind of like waving these large kind of magical golden gauntlets. There's just a few issues with the portal. We're just making sure it's safe before we let you through. We wouldn't want you to appear 300 feet above ground now, would we? She says, and the 2 goblin women start gribbling and grumbling. But yeah, this goblin woman sort of like smiles to you as she nods. And Cal, I think it's probably you that notice that the azure kind of shimmer of the portal, which would normally show you the location by looking through it, almost like an open doorway, is currently opaque, and it's sparkling like a drape covered in sapphires. And you see this sort of like ripple across the middle of the portal. And as the 2 goblin women, they simmer down for a moment, and then, no, this is stupid. There's not even that guy over there has stolen all the benches. And the portal guard comes over and attempts to calm the 2 elderly goblins down, when you notice that the Lorivar man stood by the portal has noticed and turns to look. And seemingly, from the edges of the arch where the portal meets the stonework, you see what appears to be rivulets of a red liquid seeping in and creeping towards the centre, almost like something's bleeding in. And as the portal guard looks at it, and what on elsewhere is that? He says. The portal snaps and turns a bright sanguine red. And the mage steps back a few steps, wondering what's happened. And you watch as the portal ripples and 5 individuals burst through its surface into the concourse waiting area. And the portal guard, like stunned as he is unable to do anything as a waved dagger arcs down and plunges into his collar, and he collapses to the ground. As these 5 robed, like green-robed cultists, you would expect them to be, begin pouring out of the portal, the gathered crowd start like screaming in panic. You can see the portal guards from the next portal over kind of looking over in confusion. But yeah, as these cultists begin pouring out, let's step into combat. Okie dokie. Right, so the cultists have got the element of surprise, arguably, but they used it to stab a portal guard. So I'm then passing over initiative. Who is the first to react to these cultists that just appeared?
I think I'd argue, as you said, I noticed the red first, that I should go first.
Okay.
Definitely.
Like, yeah, I think Cal immediately gets into soldier mode, and I think he like yells for attention to make sure that everyone has seen exactly what's happened.
Sure.
Everyone, get out! He like calls, and then he shoots forward, swords out, ready to take on these chaps. So yeah, he'll get as close as he can to them and sweep with both his sword and spell render.
Okay. So yeah, you see this gathering of crazed-looking Lorivar and Asavar that have poured out of the portal, and they're sort of like looking around, getting a bearing of their, getting a sense of their bearings. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so I get as close as I can. Oof. Yeah, and I'm gonna make a attack roll. Which was the one that stabbed the portal guard? Have you decided which one it was?
Let's say it was this crazed-looking lass here.
Sure. She's getting it first then. Cool. So yeah, I roll for that. So that's my. And now it's going to be.
So, and if you roll agility.
Roll agility.
To make your attack roll. So +1 because you're using your broadsword. So 14 to hit, is that?
Yes.
Okay. That hits.
Great. Okay, so then I get to roll my damage. And I'm going to use spell render as well, so that's going to be 19 points of damage.
Okay. 19. Okay, so as you're immediately off the mark, like your alert senses kind of, well, you're noticing of the portal bleeding red, giving you the advantage, and as you sprint towards the broadsword and the spell render in a flurry of blows, not only do you, well, tell me what happens to the one that you're targeting.
I mean, how damaged are they? Because if they're dead, then he's literally going. He's basically repeating the same move back.
Okay.
Like it's almost like an identical mirroring image to what they did to the portal guard, as if also like calling out their behaviour.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
In which case, then, as you return the favour by plunging spell render into her sort of like into her sternum. The two cultists behind her spring forward to sort of like attack you whilst you're off balance, but you're quick enough that you then are able to dislodge the magic dagger, and with a flurry of the broadsword and the dagger, again, you cut all three of them down.
Oh, nice.
They are dead. And they collapse to the ground, lifeblood spurting from their wounds. Who's going next?
I'm just going to roll my prayer dice real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Another
4, 2, 4.
And a 4. Nice.
Mr. DM,
Yes.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are any of them kind of not dead but very badly injured, so that...
I mean, I'll let you decide if they're dead or...
Yeah, I think this is, if one of them's like alive enough that if we need to, we can interrogate him after that.
I was thinking about doing that to one of the remaining ones, depending on who was going next.
Yeah, like as long as one of them is alive enough to have a conversation with us, that would be great.
Sure.
Quite useful going forward.
Well, yeah. Who's going? Who wants to go after Cal?
I'm happy to go. I will. So Riri hopping on the back of Vinny. As I'm in close range of Azakar, I'm going to use him as a boost. So we goat hop off of Azakar. And as we do, we can get to melee range and have advantage.
Okay.
On the attack. So, ping, and then I ping.
Okay. So this ignorant sprite riding an overly large chihuahua soars through the air.
Yeah, I just like slam just into the back of Azakar, just dunk, and then just as he sort of kills over, we just kind of bends over from the shock. We just use that as a massive platform to over the top of everyone. And Vinny's gonna bite whoever he fancies.
Okay. So yeah, there are two cultists that are were outside of arm's reach of Cal to avoid the murderous flurry. But yeah, they don't expect this to land in their midst.
So I will roll dice. I have advantage with that move. So that is a 19 with fear. 19
with fear. Cal, also, sorry if you didn't already chuck on your hope that you gained.
Oh yeah, nice. Thank you.
19 with fear. 19 hits.
Fabulous. Roll for chomp. Roll. Hey, there we go. That's 25.
Oh boy. Okay. So as Vinny hurtles through the air, one of the cultists like steps to, I don't know, catch you. And she's just crumpled like wet paper as Vinny boom, lands on her, and sort of like her head cracks against the stonework of the portal. The momentum is enough that you're able to fundamentally like springboard off Vinny's back into the final, the fifth cultist, and between for 25 damage. You shred the two of them as well.
Yeah. I think Vinny just gets one of them by the back and just ragdolls. Just.
I'll leave the blood splatters there, but one of the blood splatters may still be alive. So, Ravy, you and Vinny have landed. the 5 kind of cultists are kind of dispatched with, and you notice that Cal is looking at the portal with a furrow on his brow because, as I say, normally you can see through a portal to what's on the other side, but now it just looks like this surface of rippling blood. And as you roll fear, I'm going to step in and...
Unforgettable.
Huh?
All dead. All dead.
well, I'm then going to peculiarly spend a fear and I would like to roll only a 4. Cal, you notice that the blood, well, the two of you, I should say, both notice that the blood, the surface of the portal ripples violently, and then emerging in a large globulous kind of splashes comes barreling through this 4-legged draconic centaur-like creature. And as it does come barreling through, Cal and Ravi, you dive out the way as it swings this 2-handed battle axe in a wide arc. Cal, you kind of jump back. Ravi, you're able to duck under it with Vinny. As this dragon spawn barrels between the two of you and then comes to a halt. It then it missed both of you, so then it sort of looks around. It's gone past you. It now looks at the panicking civilians in front of it, and it effectively kind of rises up to an upright position. I'm then going to spend another fear as the portal ripples a second time, and one of the cultists that was still alive, the chest is crushed under the weight of this Drakator's foot as it a second emerges wielding an equally savage looking battle axe. And it's just gonna take a big swing at Azakar. Not Azakar, at Cal.
I was going to say, that's a big swing.
It's a big swing. There's a 14 hit.
It does indeed.
Okay.
That's gonna hurt, isn't it? I feel it in my bones. It's gonna hurt.
It's a big boy swing.
So it's 2d6 plus 15. Okay. As this second one steps through, it sees you, Cal, and with a roar, it sort of it pushes off the poor cultist that is just crushed underfoot and effectively bodies into you for 24 physical damage, and you have to spend 2 armor slots to reduce 1 level of damage.
Okay. Cool, I can do that.
As it just bodies you with its bulk.
Okay, so 2 armor slots, because it's in my major damage, luckily. Because I have 26 severe damage now, which is a relief. So I was able to get it down from major damage to minor.
Okay.
So I've only taken 1 HP damage.
Okay. So as these 2 Drakators emerge, who wants to go next?
Azakar's gonna, upon seeing these creatures appear through the portal, he is going to rush up as far as he can. And he is going to do Bolt Beacon at the one that's closest to him.
Okay. So the one that's just charged Cal and Rayri, but sort of like both of them ducked out the way of.
Yeah.
Okay. Bolt me some beacons.
Good one.
It is with hope, however.
Oh, lovely.
A 5 with hope.
I'm guessing that's not going to do anything.
Let me check. Nah. So, in which case, yeah, as you rush forward and this bolt beacon arcs out, the Drakator sort of like turns its helmeted head to look at you, and like its lips, like the lips of the snout, sort of like pull back in this snarl, and it brings the battle axe up flat side forward and just kind of catches the bolt beacon, and you watch as the divine magic effectively absorbs into this red gem at the center of the battle axe that then moves to look at you like an eye.
Don't like that.
Brother, ooh.
Brother,
Ooh.
okay, so Azakar, yeah, as this Drakator parries your bolt, who's going next? Oh no, I could go next. Me go next, because you do a
You
miss.
don't have to.
You don't have to, Dan.
The crystal eye looks to you, and then the Drakator rears up, and he's going to body you as well.
Why?
He just wants a hug for 13 to hit.
Yeah, that will hit.
That will hit. For a grand total of 22 damage, and you must spend 2 armor slots to reduce the damage.
Big old bums. Okay, I'll spend 2, and I will get that down to a minor damage.
Okay. So yes, the Drakator, having just caught your bolt beacon, then sort of like rears up on its rear legs. So its hands go to the end of the battle axe, and there's this large swing that you're able to jump out the way, but it does kind of nick you as you dodge out the way. That was his turn. Alfric or Vanya up next.
Is there something you want to do first, Alfred?
I'm just
Or are
trying
you
to
still
decide.
thinking?
I could go next. I think I know.
Okay.
Alfred, I think seeing this Drakator here about to try and attack this group of commoners, or very close to Alfric, in a panic will cast Mystic Tether.
The panic will cast Fireball on the commoners.
Fireball on
to
the
get them
commoners.
first.
Get rid of him. He'll cast Mystic Tether on the Drakator.
Okay.
So make a spellcast roll against a target within far range. On a success, they are temporarily restrained and mark a stress.
Okay. So please roll me a presence check.
Presence check. It's a 9, but I rolled with hope.
At least you rolled with hope. Okay, in which case, what does this is the first time you use it? What does your Mystic Tethers look like?
I assume it gets out his violin, strings a couple of like very tight notes, and it's like the extensions of the violin strings shoot out like a blue light towards the creature.
Amazing. In which case, as these strings kind of arc out, and like the Drakator's in profile as it's kind of wailing on Azakar, and the strings begin to wrap around the torso between the four legs, sorry. But then the Drakator turns to look at you, and then you watch as he, like with this large scaly hand that looks significantly more brutish than your own hands, he almost kind of grabs these magical strings and pulls on them, and they snap with a boom, boom, boom. That terrible noise of when your violin string breaks. It just rips them from around his midriff, and they kind of disperse into mists of mana. Anything else, Azakar? Would you like to move?
You mean Alfric?
Alfric, sorry. Would you like to move, Alfric?
I think seeing this another spell not work, Alfric, in kind of a desperation, he'll kind of hesitate, and then run sort of into the crowd of commoners and sort of try and in just sort of an attempt to like usher them towards the door, like
Sure.
away.
Sure.
I thought you were just hiding yourself in amongst the commoners.
Yeah, a load of meat shields.
Just like, come on.
Right, I will interject after Alfric. The Drakator up near between Cal and Rayri, that's going to have another turn, and this time, so he's sort of like bodied into Cal, and having just kind of knocked you back a little bit, Drakator turns, because he can hear presumably Vinny going doing a chihuahua snarl.
He's still got like a cultist body in his mouth.
And there is a loud, high-pitched scraping as this battle axe carves a groove along the stonework floor as he brings it up in an uppercut type swing in your direction. That's a 13 to hit.
Wait. It meets, because this I talked about earlier, I have to remember when I've got Vinny with me,
Yeah.
I ups my invasion. So it's a 13.
Yeah.
Mine is a 13. Yours is a 13. So it meets it.
Beats it.
Meets it.
Okay. So, Vinny tries his best to get the two of you out the way, but you will take 24 damage for your troubles. And once again, you would have to spend 2 armor slots to reduce it by 1 level.
Okay, I will do 2 armor slots. And reduce it to major damage. I still mark 2 hit points. Okay. Yep.
So yeah, this one's just sort of like belly barged into Cal, knocked Cal back a few steps, and then spun round and brought the axe up to you. He then turns, the Drakator turns to the second. Who amongst us do we reckon speaks Draconic?
Rick?
That being like the holy language.
I feel like Alfric wouldn't.
I'm thinking
But you're-
Azakar does.
I think Azakar probably
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at the very
He
least...
gets by.
Yes, but
Well,
He can order a
conversational.
sandwich.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
certainly able to acknowledge what's being said, as the Drakator by the portal that's just attacked Rayri bellows in Draconic, "Cull the Horde!" And the second that's fighting you, Azakar, like nods as it acknowledges the instruction to cull the Horde. That's my turn. Who's going next? Vanya, I assume.
So, what Vanya will do is go up, up into this space. Is that all right? Space there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So essentially,
Running through people.
yeah, Vanya kind of like uses them as almost like a very bad means of like cover to like be able to sneak up on this creature as Vanya is like sort of skirting these people, planning to go for like a powerful uppercut on this big Drakator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to activate a couple of things. I'm going to activate my Deadly Focus. And, just for fun, I'm going to activate my signature move.
You gotta name it.
I gotta name it.
That's the rules. You gotta name it. You gotta say it.
It's 10-ton missile fist. No,
But it says that this-
the 10-finger missile fist.
Yeah. It literally says in the description of this new move is that you have to name it and describe it and include its description whilst you do it. So it's literally like an anime style, like, oh,
Yep.
dynamite fingers.
Level 5 shenanigans. Nah, this is what I get for letting you level up.
Yeah, so essentially what's been happening, as everyone's sort of already been like pressing forward, Vanya's took that moment to build up the wind and ice primal magic in his gauntlet, as he sort of then takes this chance now to press the advantage, skirting around the people and coming in with a powerful uppercut. And in this moment, there's just this almost like a mini tornado of wind and ice that's cutting and spinning as he goes for this uppercut. And let me just see if I hit first before.
So your hope die is now a D20 rather than D12.
Yep.
Have you got the new macro?
Yeah, I got the new macro. Yeah. That's for the signature move macro. Is that for my to hit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just do that. Normal.
And you get advantage as well, I believe.
Do I?
I thought, I don't know.
No, I don't get advantage. I just what I've done is I've beefed up my proficiency bonus to a for the weapon damage with my deadly focus, and also my signature move. So does a 17 hit?
A 17 does hit.
And that was rolled with fear, by the looks of it. Yep.
Oh, I've actually still got it called the 10-knuckle fist missile in the chat. That's
oh my god. Yeah, so screen, yeah, bro. So Vanya comes arcing up, bringing this whirling blizzard fist, and shouts out in this moment of really cool cinematic stuff. What was the name? Hold on. Yep. He's just like,
Knuckle fist missile!
I'm keeping the suspense. No, he's like, Fang of the wolf queen. And yeah, this arc of cold blizzardy wind just cuts into this creature, which now I get to roll. Where is it?
So roll normal damage, and then because you've hit, you're going to clear a stress.
Yes, and I also roll an extra D10 on top of this. Let me just roll another D10. Hold on. So that is a 32 points of magical damage to this creature.
Well. 32, eh? That is severe damage. So, as this sort of like supercharged punch, where on the Drakator are you striking?
I'm going towards its like jaw, where obviously I know is going to impact. But, you know, trying to dodge most of this armor and trying to go for the squishy area of its like neck and jaw as I try almost.
What's your
extra? Up into the air.
Where does your extra D10 come from?
Deadly focus. I get
you deadly focusing,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got on this one creature for the moment 4 D10 plus 3.
Okay, so it does severe damage. It takes 3 damage. The Drakator is rocked, and then sort of like turns to regard you as you, as you. Sorry, what part of it are you punching?
The sort of neck and jaw.
Okay, so yeah, the horn on that side of the Drakator's head, which you realise is its actual horn that's just kind of protruding from a gap on the helmet. The horn snaps and the Drakator roars in pain as it's rocked a couple of steps. Cal, you have to
eyes and cuts on its like bottom jaw and neck.
Okay, in which case, yeah, as it staggers away with the frost clinging to its bottom jaw, Cal, you have to kind of dodge out the way a little bit as it comes barreling towards you, and then it just sort of like turns to regard you with this snarl, as you can see sort of like blood trickling from where the horn meets the skin under the helmet. It's like this black ichor. Anything else, Vanya?
No, that is it.
Okay. Alfred, as you are amongst the crowd, you're attempting to sort of like shepherd them away, right?
Yes.
Okay. Please make me a reactive. You tell me what ability you're using to try and convince these civilians to get to safety.
I suppose it's a presence.
Yeah.
Presence roll.
Okay.
Just a normal.
Yes, please. Yeah, make me a standard thingy roll. 22. So yeah, it's reactive, so you won't worry. That is absolutely fine. You're able to convince these civilians to quickly depart, and sort of like in effect calmed by your presence and your words. The civilians around you rush out of the door that you entered in, along with like the portal guard leads those 2 goblin women out as well, and because you were able to save the civilians, everyone can mark a hope.
Hey. Well done, Alfred.
So yeah, make sure you mark that in Foundry so we remember. Start of the next round.
Me.
Yeah, go.
Hey!
My turn to fight the centaur, the dragon centaur. Okay, I am going to... So I'm going to see what's happened around me. Before I attempt anything with me, I'm wondering if me and Rayri want to tag team on Drakator. I'm not sure what. I'm suggesting maybe something like you... maybe you and Vinny distract him, and then I can get him in the back, or I can get on top and...
If Ravi just goes round the legs with a rope.
Yeah.
And then...
True,
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking we could just run really fast and it's like, whoa!
I thought it'd work, and then, yeah, something like that. So yeah, I feel like a tag team would be good. I now have 3 hope, so I can spend that, but I think you also have 3 hope.
Yeah.
So I don't
I
know.
also have 3 hope.
So it's Cal's turn, so Ravi, if you want to spend your 3 hope now, you can join the tag team.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay.
Let's get rid of these bad boys.
So, Cal, make your choice as to what you want to roll. So make your attack,
It
presumably.
will be my agility roll. I think I'm double checking if I have anything else. Cool. No, that's fine. I'm just gonna keep this in mind in case if I make an agility roll, which I'm about to. You can mark a stress to re-roll your hope die, and then you take the result. So let's see how badly the hope die does.
Yep.
Okay, so let's go with the agility. Cool.
So you've rolled a 5 on your hope die.
Do I risk it?
For a grand total of 16 with your broadsword.
Yeah.
Well, as an aside, actually, Rayri, if you're tag teaming...
We might as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
so make your roll.
Cool.
And then...
Okay.
No better. Might as well. Take
So
yours.
We know a 17 hits, but we don't know if a 16 does.
Would you
I
like?
would-
Would you like a prayer dice to boost that up?
Yes, please.
For 17. There you go. Have a tour. Have a tour prayer dice.
Okay.
Love you, Erica. Thank you, Erica.
So that will take your 16 to an 18 with fear. But the two of you hit.
Amazing.
So let me take that fear. That lovely, lovely fear.
Cool. And then I would like to deal damage by marking a stress to take the maximum value of my damage dice instead of rolling it, please.
Okay.
If that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be, I'm going to use Spell Render and the Broadsword, which
And
is...
then-
Oh, no, actually, no, let's just do the Broadsword because that's +3, so that's 3d8 plus 3.
Well, I mean, you might as well attack with Spell Render because it just gives you extra damage if you dual wield.
Well, the Spell Render says it's 3d8 plus 2. And
If you
then
attack with
Broadsword-
just Spell Render,
Just
but
spell
if you
render.
use the dual
Yes,
weight
okay.
wield, you just do more damage.
Cool. Ignore me. Alright, so we're not rolling, we're just getting the...
And Ravy, if you rolled your damage,
Yep.
we'll add that to whatever Theo rolls.
Well, I'm not rolling up.
Oh,
So,
whatever. Whatever made-up number Theo presents me.
so yeah, so it's 3 times 8. So that's 24 plus 3.
27.
is 27.
47.
Whatever. 27. No, it's 27.
27 plus 20.
Plus
is
my
40
20.
40
Yeah.
damage, 47 damage. In a surprise to absolutely no one, that is lethal. That is severe damage, beg your pardon. Boom. 3 points of damage to the Drakator as, Cal, as you go above and Rayri, you go beneath. This Drakator is just sandwiched between your flurry of cuts between the three of you, I guess.
I think I'm actually standing on it. I'm standing on the Drakator's back now.
Is this a Legend of Zelda back of a line or like just stab
Yeah,
it in the
why
head?
not?
Just rodeoing that boy.
That's it.
Amazing. Okay, so between the two of you, 47 damage. Wow, wee wow. Very good, Cal. Do you want to move, or are you happy staying in melee?
Be on the back of this Dragator.
Okay.
Let's just...
Tell you what, let's plonk you on the actual back of it. Who's going after Cal? It sounded like Azakar
That
wanted
was
to.
fear, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Oh, in which case.
Sorry.
In which case, Cal, as you are clambering over it, an arm comes out, and that arm may or may not be holding an axe. 20 to hit.
Yeah. Oof,
Okay.
ouch.
So, like an elbow comes back and catches you in the side, and as you're sort of like rocked from the back of the rocked from the back of the thing, the battle axe comes around and like catches you in midair for a grand total of 2d6 boop, 21 damage, and you have to spend double armor to negate.
That's okay. So yeah, so again, it's not in my severe damage, it's in my major, so I can reduce it again, so that's 4. And then it's only... Still got 3 hit points left. It's fine. Everything's fine. Oh, actually, before... Because you did melee on me, I'm going to be very good and remember all of my effects this time. So, when you're hit by an enemy in melee range, you roll number d6 equal to the amount of hit points you marked. So in this case, it's 1. But each of... So yeah, so if I roll 1d6, I can deal a point back to the enemy.
Okay.
Okay, so I just roll a d6 and see what happens. No, I don't think that works.
In which case, you try to swing at the Drakator as you're sort of like hurtling through the air, but the blade of the axe catches you and like swings you away, and unceremoniously kind of deposits you back at the bottom, back on the ground. Okay, yes. It sounds like Azakar was chomping in at the bit.
Nice. I'm going to spend 3 hope.
Why do I have this intense fear every time someone says, I'm going to spend 3 hope?
It's because they're the coolest move.
I've got to spend all my money.
I'm going to spend all my money to kill the man. I'm going to spend 3 hope to play my new card. Come on, mouse, go over here. Smite.
Oh no. Oh no.
So on my next successful attack with a weapon, so it doesn't really matter if I don't get you this time because I might get you next time.
Yeah.
Double the value of your damage roll, and this attack deals magic damage regardless of the weapon's damage type.
Sure. Okay. So the sword is glowing brightly.
Yes.
I'm imagining, because it does that normally, there's also divine runes circling it, like orbiting the blade.
Yeah. I like
Extra
that.
magic.
Just a crit.
Oh god, it'd be so funny if I got a crit.
Ah,
We
close.
saw it. We
thank
saw
you,
it.
Grit. Close to a grit.
A 17 with hope is a hit. So
Nice.
mark your hope and roll your damage and double it.
Come on. Big money, big money, big money.
So 42. also, I mean, I'm hoping that it's like he's already dead, but I am also going to use my other new card, which is Body Basher, which means I can add an extra 3 points because that's my strength trait to the total damage.
That's added in already.
Oh, it's added in? Is it?
Yeah, because you're normally 3d10 plus 1, so I've added the plus 4. Plus 3 for you. So here's 21. Okay, so 42 damage is severe.
Geez.
Tell me what this looks like, Azakar.
Yeah, as he's felt the battle axe go sort of like across his chest, feeling a little bit more that this is a much more bigger opponent than what they anticipated actually seeing here. He has started charging up his scimitar. You see the runes sort of start to glow brighter and start actually sort of circling around his blade as he goes for a flourish to then sort of jab it just right into the chest of this creature.
And you drive the scimitar deep into the chest cavity of the Drakator, which roars as it's just been rocked by this enormous blow from Vanier, and it's just been skewered through the chest by you. And you watch as its shoulders slump, and then it lifts its head to look at you and utter this deep, menacing growl as you realise it is still alive.
What?
What?
And
you what, bruv?
It looks like, and it goes to grab at your wrist that's currently holding the scimitar embedded in its chest. That's Azakar's turn. Who's going next? Alfric, Vanya, or Rairi?
I mean,
I'm happy to do one last chomp on this this almost. Or shall I go for? Shall I try and finish off Drakator, the Drakator, the Saboteur? Yeah, okay. Rairi,
Go, Rairi, go.
After she's running around. She's a bit dizzy because Cal was just like run, and then she's just like running around in circles, and she's a bit like so as she kind of stops and then just slams straight into Drakator number
the one grappling with the one that's currently holding.
with one that's holding onto
Azakar.
She kind of sees it off as in like the glimmer and just goes, all right.
Because you've just watched as the battle axe arm has come up in a executioner's position.
And we're just gonna go straight in for a jump and chomp.
Okay.
And we're close enough so we can just get straight up to him. I'm gonna roll my dice. Come on. Oh, it's a crit! I did the wrong one! Fuck!
Okay. It's max. Well, roll your dice and then add your max damage. So your max damage is 33, so that is 54 points of damage.
Yeah.
Cool. That is double its severe value. So you say you just run in and do a little chomp.
Run in and just do a little chomp. I just wanted to take off like 10 hit points, but
Vinny launches and grabs onto the throat of this Drakator, which then roars in pain as this thing like weighs down on its neck. The arm's flailing because it can't bring its arm down because there's a giant chihuahua in the way, and then Raimi's crawling over it like a little spider.
yeah, just got an arrow. Just.
And Azakar and Vanya, you have to duck out the way as this thing like rears up onto its rear legs to try and sort of like shake Vinny from the death grip around its throat. Like Alfric, it's let go of your hand and your scimitar's kind of pulled free, and then there's like a final crunch from the sort of like the dire chihuahua's jaws, and then the Drakator slowly collapses to the ground, flattening this sort of like rope barrier and box, just crushing it under its massive bulk. Anything else, Raimi?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of, they all fall down. They just both kind of just like look up, just kind of crazed look. Her and Vinny both splattered with blood, and just like looking at Azakar like, did we do such a good job? Like,
Theo, was there something you wanted?
Was that the Drakator that said Cull the Horde, or is it the one that I?
That's the Cull the Hoarder is your one, the one that's still alive.
Cool. And then another thing,
yes.
Who's culling now?
That was amazing. Just like shouts that over from where he is.
looking at Cal now.
Yeah, because that means you now get 3 hope, and so do I, because I complimented you on something.
Ray, remember that you also get 1 hope for rolling crit.
Oh, yeah.
Who's going after Ray? There's 1 Drakator left.
Who's gonna top that? Nothing.
I mean, that sounds like a challenge, Vanya.
Come on, Vanya.
Vanya sees this display and is like, nice. And feeling inspired and almost like a thrill and like a surge of like blood boiling, blood pumping from the challenge. He is almost on all fours, just leaps towards the other one, like flying through the air, like.
Gonna do the same thing as Vinny, just onto his neck.
So yeah, I gotta. I don't, because I've lost now. That creature's dead. I've lost my focus on deadly focus. I can't do that anymore. So yes. And that. So yeah. I'm. Do you know what? Because of this, of that moment, I almost feel like this is time to use my thrill of the hunt experience from that challenge. So I'm gonna spend my 1 hoop just because I'm pumped. And I'm going to add +3 to this roll.
Come on. Nice.
It's done with fear, but it's +3 on top of that. Wait. Hold on. No, +4, +3. So that's +7 on top. So 1, 2. So that's 25 to hit.
That's a hit.
In which case, I am going to roll damage. 25 points of damage as I leap onto this creature and sock it 1.
So 25 points. As you leap towards and sort of like, sucker punch this Drakator in the side of the helmet as it's tussling with Cal. That is major damage. So it loses 2 hit points. Again, it rocks from the blow and then sort of like turns to you as you leap towards it. And as you rolled with fear, it's going to immediately, like, it rocks and then sort of like leans forward and with an arc brings the battle axe down in a heavy swing for so that's its turn. Swings at you for 19 to hit.
Yep.
For 18 damage.
Oh, that's not as much as I was expecting.
That was a very low roll.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to use that feature I was going to use. Never mind. So yeah, no, I take the hit. And obviously is this one that I have to spend the armor slots to get or not?
No, so if you want to spend armor, you have to spend double.
To reduce it by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The
So
heavy
These
hitters.
are big boys.
These are big heavy hitter boys.
I mean, I've got 8 armor slots, so yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'm gonna spend two armor slots to bring it down to a minor, and because of my thick skin trait of my ancestry, I'm gonna roll d6, and on a 5+, I don't take damage.
Okay.
Where's my d6? There we go. Roll, baby. Oh, 1. Yep, I take the damage.
You take the damage. Okay. So yeah, it swings the battle axe down. The blade like embeds into the stonework, but you're able to dodge out the way of the vast majority of it. Okay. As it wrenches the axe free, we pan to Alfric.
You could do better than that.
Oh, and Alfric.
Go on, Alfric, go.
Finish him.
I
Finish him. Finish him.
Alfric has lost many of his long-range spells. He got rid of them in favor of the big one that he's not going to use.
Go on.
Do it.
So I think for the first time in this adventure, he's going to remember that he has a sword he can use. And he's going to draw it. He's going to leap the
The body of the other Taurus or Drakator.
Yeah. And he's going to attack this one.
Okay.
So I think
Come on.
that's. I think I have to roll presence for.
Your rapier
It'll be-
would be
Yes.
Agility?
agility,
Is it?
I believe.
I think it says presence.
Well,
I've got it here anyway. So.
you've done 21 damage if you hit, but let's have a look at you.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was the wrong one to hit. Sorry, that was me clicking randomly. There we go. Yes, it says I roll presence for my rapier.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So good.
26 with hope, so I'll mark your hope, and you're up to 2 hope, and you did 21 damage. I've got a sneaking suspicion you did 21 damage.
I might have done 21 damage. Premonition of the future.
So, Alfric, talk me through how this happens.
I think from behind you hear, as has become customary, a slightly panicked yell, as Alfric leaps the barrier of the sort of the holding area. Sword drawn in a way that tells you he hasn't drawn it since he and Cal were learning when he first joined the gang. Barrels past, and he plunges it with not much grace into the head of this Drakator.
Well, okay. So I'm imagining if you're dashing in, it's just swung the battle axe down. Vanya's dodged out the way of being bisected vertically.
I imagine it's gone up. It's gone up
through
its chin. Yeah.
So yeah,
he's
You've effectively found the soft spot, and it's gone up through the squishy bottom jaw, and then you feel a little ding, as the rapier seemingly hits the inside of the helmet somewhere, and the Drakator, like, one eye twitches as the rapier lodges in, and as you pull it free, the Drakator sort of like roars, like flails a bit, and like this large clawed hand reaches out for you, and then it kind of collides and slips down the steps, as it's reaching for you, and then its body just kind of sags into a death slump. And the Drakator is defeated.
Does the Drakator like melt away again like the other dragons did?
You, as it slumps, you then watch as the two of them effectively putrefy and sort of like crumble into this black mist, similar to the horned hunters that you fought in the Merethesis plains. But as they do, you notice that the portal begins clearing, and it returns to its azure blue state. And then the opaque blue begins to, like, details begin to emerge, and it soon becomes this this see-through clear portal to Alfric. You recognize it as the road into Seldavon, where the portal at the point that the four of you arrived at some weeks ago. But the route to Seldavon is now open.
Hey.
I reckon we take a chance to have a quick break. Congratulations, everyone, on completing my portal room mystery.
Was it a mystery? Or...
Was it a mystery?
So we kill these big things? I don't know.
It's a mystery.
As the route to Gannis and Eindrith and whatever machinations they have is laid bare to you, we will take a quick break. We will be, let's say we'll be back in like 10 minutes, give or take, so just before 10 to 10, where we'll steam through into the second half of this episode. If you are watching this and enjoying it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube. We've got loads of other TTRPG kind of live plays and actual plays all the time, so I don't want you to miss out. That would be a shame. I will see you all in a little bit.
Ta.
Bye.
Why?
All across the unknown world, rediscovery pushes ever onwards to find the lands and people lost. All thanks to our brave explorers.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm playing Vanya, the Wolfkin Warrior.
Hey, I'm Livy. I'm going to be playing Rayri, the Sprite Ranger.
Hi, my name's Theo and I'm playing Cal, a Sangvar Guardian.
I'm Georgia, and I will be playing Alfric Stormhall, a Dragon Scent Bard.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I'm playing Azakar, a Majani Seraph.
And my name is DM Dan, the GM in these adventures. The further we go, the more we learn of these magical tales from elsewhere. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Explorers of Elsewhere Live. Tales from Elsewhere, our regular Daggerheart live stream actual play. Hi, I am DM Dan, and these are my 5 intrepid adventurers, Nate, Livy, Georgia, Theo, and Dan. Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi. We have just done a big fight in the concourse, which is the location where all the portals to the capital city of Avamore are kept. Someone was doing naughty things with portals. You've managed to solve that, and you've now hurried through to a sleepy little town called Seldavon, a town that you sort of have visited in the past on a previous adventure, albeit keeping yourself up in a archmage's magical mansion up on a hill. But the Seldavon is of great importance to at least one of you, Alfric, this being your hometown, but you've discovered that it appears to be of great importance to a dubious figure, a dubious man called Gannis, who has diabolical plans with Seldavon lying at the heart of it. You've just managed to defeat some Drakators, some sort of like centaurish draconic dragon spawn, and with their magical enchantments on the portal lifted, you have hurried through to the aid of Seldavon. So we rejoin you as you emerge out of the portal that lies just outside of Seldavon, the town of Seldavon. You can see Seldavon sort of like below you, slightly more into this sort of like valley. Off to your left, you can see the hill that you ascended some weeks ago when you attended Archmage Ulick's mystery guest dinner. Unfortunately, you never really got to meet him because he was killed before the party got started. But where his magical mansion used to be is now just like an empty, it's an empty hill for all intents and purposes, that overlooks the purple roofed narrow houses that comprise Seldavon. Alfric, as you see your town from, a very, very familiar sight, where's your mind at knowing that bad stuff is happening? Or due to happen, I should say.
He's very much, he's looking around, trying to see if anything is different about these very familiar rooftops. Trying very much not to look in the direction of one particular very familiar roof. That is his home. But I think he's mostly he's trembling with the adrenaline of actually, and yes, trying very hard.
Okay.
To keep his composure.
In which case, as the 5 of you hurry along the path that leads into Seldavon, Alfric, you are clearly aware of the sort of like the larger stately like manors that are on the sort of like far side of the town, on a like raised bit of the geography that sort of like looks over this relatively small but well populated town that survived the catastrophic events of the eschaton a mere 18-ish months ago. And as you sort of like make it into the town, as the five of you make it into the town proper, like fundamentally all roads, like the road you're in will lead you to the central town square. Alfric, you know that the town square sports a rather garish statue of the now late Archmage Ulick. A commemorative piece. Perhaps you did or didn't know why it was there, really. I mean, Archmage Ulick was always a bit of a poser at the best of times. But now you know that... Well, did you know that he had his final encounter with Eindrith here? Or are you slightly concerned that perhaps that has been kept from you?
That's a good question. I feel like if it's something that the town was aware of in terms of it was a big flashy battle, especially considering the town was spared from being moved around geographically in the war. If that was sort of the one thing that happened to us that we are aware of, then I think I'll be very aware of it, especially considering his love of adventures and of that kind.
So perhaps you were aware of the Battle of Seldavon, but maybe you weren't allowed near windows. Your parents didn't allow you near any windows to watch what would apparently be an archmage fighting off a major, like a high power dragon spawn. Okay, well, let's say the road that you're on leads towards the town square, so that's where we'll fundamentally pick up. And as the five of you arrive, let me preload that for you and then switch you in.
Nice.
We find you... let me turn on the lights.
Voice.
Can you all see?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, we find you on a rather wide street, again very familiar to you, Alfric, that leads into the centre of town. In front of you, you can see the rather large, garish statue of Archmage Ulick. There are the various kind of market stalls scattered around this square. Again, that looks relatively normal. As whilst it was like morning in Avamore when you left, wherever Seldavon is geographically, it is now like dusk. The sky is starting to turn a bit pinkish as it's starting to descend. In front of you, you can see a number of like Seldavon civilians, just sort of like standing around, muttering and murmuring to each other. A rather insular folk, I would argue, given that we survived the war. But you can hear a sort of like a hubbub, commotion coming from the town square itself, and between the five of you, you will be astute enough to recognise the voice of a particular Lorivar man. Gather, citizens of Seldavon. We come from Avamore with gifts of wonder and beauty. You hear Gannis shouting to the masses. What do the five of you do? Are you kind of rushing in? Are you going a bit more discreetly?
I think like the entire walk up, as we were like walking up, I just imagine Riri is just quite excited that we're in like Alfric's hometown, and I just imagine as Alfric's just like walking along a little bit apprehensive, Riri's just like in his ear, just like, so you're gonna see your parents? Where do they live? How big's their house? Where are we going? What's the like? Have they got a dog? But do you think that we can stay over? Do you think they want to do this? How long did you live here? And just like the entire time, just like like a little fly, and then just as soon as like that, she hears that voice, she's literally just like, hello, and just like, oh, this guy, oh. And she just kind of looks towards Cal as the leader of just Dad. It's him!
Dad.
It's him! We're gonna get him! What are we gonna do?
Let's go in quietly. We don't want them to, like... Quietly.
Sure. Well...
For now. There are lots of civilians here.
Yeah.
So quietly.
We could just get Alfric to stab him. He's really good at that. I don't know why he's bothering with all the magic stuff. He's much better. He's much better at stabbing, isn't he? Do you think, Cal? Do you think?
He was very good at the sword stab.
Do you think? Okay. Because.
We need to.
So, are the five of you...
Dad. On lips.
Are the five of you discreetly heading on up?
I think that's the best plan at the moment.
Discretion is our middle name.
Okay.
All of us. We're all discretion.
So I'll go ahead. Oh yeah, go.
I was going to say, just before we're heading up, if Alfric is feeling sort of like a little bit like hesitant, and if people are sort of walking up in front of him, Azakar's probably just going to catch him unawares and put a hand on his shoulder and say, and you can find it's quite hard for him to sort of find the words, but he feels like he needs to say it. And he said, like, you did well in that fight, but the most important thing you did was you protected those people. Remember that as we go forward. And saying that, I would like to give my 4 prayer dice to Alfric for him to use when he wants.
Okay. So yes, you have a +4 in the kitty to use as and when. The two of you, like,
just imagine Cal behind him, like, yeah, good dadding, good.
as the two of you kind of catch up with the others, you begin sort of like slowly moving up, and like, you know, there's a big kind of gathering of civilians as they're kind of going, oh, what's this? Oh, is that a wizard? Oh, I think I thought I was a wizard. Oh, bloody wizards are just notions, aren't they? And as you sort of like arrive at the mouth of the street that kind of opens up into this kind of central town square, you notice, let me get these commoners out of the way. Out of the way, peasants.
Sling him to the side.
You notice that, well, you spy Gannis stood in the shadow of the statue, and he is flanked by 4 robe-wearing individuals. You see 2. Well, Alorvar and Amasiv are like closest to him, and in front of him there are 2 more like green robe-wearing individuals, but their robes look a bit more ornate. 2 keepers specifically, and they whilst Gannis has his arms up and he's kind of petitioning to the murmuring crowds, these 2 keepers seem to be sort of like towering over everyone, just kind of scanning, seemingly on watch out. I will ask for... I'm just going to roll... effectively, I'm just going to roll 50-50. So, on a 4+, things happen. And also, if anyone's interested... Who would we say is the most astute? Or has an experience that belies their perception? I suppose Vanier in his heightened senses. Vanier, you... Oh, you don't have a hope. you can roll a reaction check. A reaction instinct.
Reaction instinct?
Yeah.
Let me do that. Instinct.
Nice.
24.
24. Okay, very good. On a 4+, things happen. Okay. As the 5 of you approach, Gannis doesn't appear... Like, Gannis nor these 2 keepers seem to have acknowledged your approach. But, Vanier, you... From where you're stood, you get this sort of, like, sixth sense feeling creeping up your neck that actually... Perhaps you wonder if there are more people here than like meets the eye. And as you do a subtle kind of glance around your surroundings through a combination of sight and like shadows, like seeing shadows, you notice that there are 2 more green robe wearing individuals on the roofs of the buildings flanking you. And there are 2 other green robe wearing individuals in a pot market stand behind you, and hiding behind the tree behind you.
Do I get the sense that they've clocked us, or...?
It looks like they... Well, you notice that they are watching you, but... like they've acknowledged your presence, but as the keepers don't appear to have... The keepers in front of you don't appear to have acknowledged your presence.
I'll mutter under my breath, only so that these guys can hear us, like... 2 on the roofs. Some behind that tree. And that stall over there.
As you warn your companions, Gannis continues. Seldavon is a town blessed with history. A fortunate survivor of the eschaton, you have positively flourished under the guidance of the now late Archmage Ulick. I invite you here today to celebrate his achievements and to ask yourselves, what will the town of Seldavon do now Ulick is gone? Who will you turn to in the dark? Who will you whisper thanks to when you're alone? And the gathered civilians just kind of, what's he going on? He must be a wizard. He's a bit of a kook. But yeah, Gannis is still, like, Gannis has not noticed you. He's still doing crowd work. What do you, the 5 of you, want to do?
Wring his little neck is what I want to
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
I want to chokeslam him to the floor.
We just body him as a group collectively.
Just one big ball.
Yeah. Can we do a sort of 5 tag team? Okay.
Yeah. What would you like to
I'd
do?
say, do we want to make ourselves known? I mean, these guys have already clocked. We can't really get any closer without being seen. So I guess it depends if we want to snipe or if you want to just go all in. You've got fireball.
Can we clock like
With But what if you did though?
Yeah, but we could.
It was so beautiful.
Little one.
Ray and Vanya is just on the sideline.
I was like, can we clock like? Because you mentioned like goods or something like special things that Gannis was like presenting.
That's why I do not trust him.
Yeah, I'm kind of, can we clock what these are? Can we figure out what it is that he's got on sale?
Oh no, he's not selling anything. He's just kind of got his hands up and he's just
there with t-shirts.
Yeah.
With his name and his face on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm just trying to clock what it is that he's brought with him.
I have Thought Delver. If I read his thoughts, all I'm going to get is evil.
Yeah. Yeah. Surface level thoughts.
That's
I'm a
what it
bad
says
man.
in his t-shirt as
I'm a
well.
bad man. Yeah.
well, I mean, a potential course of action is to hold fire to see how this pans out. Okay, in which case, yeah, because he's not like offering the town anything. He's just sort of like addressing them public speaker style. But yeah, he continues. Without the protection of Archmage Ulick, we must turn to other benefactors. Benefactors that are surprisingly closer to home than one might think. And he produces in his hands the glowing crystal that he gathered from the Temple of Naravid in Merathesos. And as he holds it aloft, it begins to radiate light, like dazzling arcane light in all directions, that sparkle through all the hues of the visible colour spectrum. And like you hear a couple of there's a mix of emotion from the gathered crowds. There's a couple of like ooh ahs, and there's a couple of like the it's the perfect split of bewilderment and fear of the arcane.
What's his range?
He is currently 40 feet from Cal and 40 feet from you, Azakar.
Okay,
that is
him.
Far.
Yeah. Vinny does have an experience called Go Fetch. Just putting it out there.
I do have Fireball, and it can hit very far. That's
yeah.
Just sniping the crystal out of his hand.
Yeah, I was gonna say either Vinny can go and fetch the crystal, if we can roll that, or and then fireball him. I just wonder if the crystal will
yeah. So I was going to think, if we hit it with something, is it going to just decimate?
Yeah.
Only one way to find out.
I could levitate it out of his hand.
So,
Levitate it.
Yeah, you two do a tag team of levitating and
levitate and fetch.
And then Vinny grabs it.
Yeah.
That'll be hilarious, and I'm here. I'm for it.
Would you like
Cal doesn't know this is happening. I feel like this is something that you two are devising together. But Cal was just like...
Are there two furtive looks between Alfric and Rayri that would encourage me to start combat?
I feel like Rayri would pull Alfric down to impart this plan upon him.
Pull in the sleeve.
I can get your butter to put it, and then
I could try.
it's your one good spell. It's your one good spell.
That is true. Yes.
Is someone casting magic? Because if so, that you'll have the surprise. Well, you have the surprise against Gannis, but I will put you into combat.
Yeah.
Are we all good with this? Are we
Yeah.
okay? Cool.
Let's fight. To the
Okay.
death.
Look,
Okay.
take that crystal out.
So I've only got 3 hit points left. It's all fine. It's all good. It's fine.
What?
Fine. We'll be fine. It's fine. We'll be fine.
It's all right. I can do healing.
Okay, in which case, who's
There's not spell slot still.
who's initiating? I assume it's Alfric is initiating.
Yes. If I try and pluck it out of his hand.
Okay, let's start the battle music then. In which case, Alfric, as he's talking, you and Rayri have this grand idea. Rayri, are you spending your 3 hope to tag team?
Would it be? They're both like checks rather than.
Yeah. So, well, I mean,
Can I do that with a tag team? I'm happy to do it
You
with a tag
can,
team.
yeah.
so you effectively you spend the hope to do it simultaneously.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Cool. Okay, so you're if you drop yourself down to 1 hope, Alfric, as he's talking and he's produced this large crystal in his hand, please roll me your presence spell check.
Yeah.
Do it
Okay.
again.
What do you need?
So I rolled a 7. I rolled with hope.
Yes.
But I rolled a 7.
Prayer dice. How many prayer dice have
I've
you
got prayer dice. I've got 3 prayer dice.
You've
4.
got a +4.
Plus 4. Yeah, I've got 4 prayer dice.
So an 11.
Shouldn't you wait to see what Livy rolls?
Yeah. If I
Yeah.
roll
and
at
then
the
see
same
if
time.
that's
See if that's better.
Okay.
That's much better.
better.
So
We'll take the 20.
We'll take the 20 with hope. Okay, so Rayri is going to get hope. Okay, how does this pan out? So Alfric, how does this look? Do you just sort of like step from the crowd with a of the violin, or do you want to say something witty before you do your thing?
I think he plans on saying something witty, and as he steps forward, he realizes he's in a crowd, and a crowd of people who probably know him, and he kind of like he locks eyes with Gannis, and he kind of stumbles, and he just and the sort of like spectral hand comes out of the violin, shoots towards the crystal that he's holding to grab it.
Okay. In which case, as the spectral hands kind of reach out to grab the artifact and like the crystal and lift it from Gannis's hands, like Rayri, seeing that as your
As I go, as soon as that first happens.
Is it Rayri on Vinny's back, or is it just Vinny?
It'll just be Vinny. So
Okay.
Vinny will go out individually from Rayri. He sort of jumps sort of up and over and just runs like an absolute maniac. And just Rayri's just and just kind of points towards the crystal.
Okay, so Alfric, this hand, like Gannis pauses and sort of like watches as this spectral hand just sort of like materializes in front of him to grab the charged mana crystal that he's holding, and like as it begins to sort of like tug it from Gannis's grip, Gannis sort of like lunges forward and gets a better hold of it. So there's a bit of a tussle. As this happens, this large, like 4.5 foot tall chihuahua bursts out of the crowd. There's cries of shock and surprise as Vinny goes barreling towards Gannis and the green robe wearing individuals. The 2 keepers at the front sort of like clock Vinny, and you see them sort of like drop into ready defensive positions, but they're completely caught unawares by the raw speed of the pup.
It's crazy.
And as
I like to think that his bum's going at the same time. You know, when they get really excited and their bum just goes really fast.
Yeah. as Vinny leaps at Gannis, Vinny's like weight and momentum knocks Gannis back enough that the crystal slips from his hand. The spectral hand tries to grab it and misses, but then Vinny catches it in his jaws. So the crystal is in Vinny's mouth, and as it does appear in his mouth, you watch as there is an explosion of blinding light that
He's beautiful.
explodes into this kind of corona of chroma light, and Vinny vanishes.
Oh no. We killed Vinny.
Where'd he go?
Oh boy!
Vinny,
My boy! No, my boy!
Vinny is gone. And like Gannis has been rocked back, and he's sort of like looking around frantically. But yeah, there is now this sort of like thrumming. It's this almost like half orb of pulsating, coruscating light that's presumably emanating from this crystal. And then like the crowd just bursts into panic and screams. You've rolled with hope, so the ambush isn't sprung on you in any way, shape, or form. But as this portal, as this bubble opens up, you get Azakar, through your sort of like magic sensitivity, you recognise that it's got a similar feel to it as the magic that was permeating the Temple of Naravid when you went into that crystalline past. And you hear echo through the town square, "Meddlers!" And this low, sonorous, booming voice that you've all heard internally, but now externally. And like you feel the tiles of the nearby roofs shake slightly under the bassy reverberance. Cool. As the defenders are currently, well, the Gannis and co are currently a bit confused. Alfred, would you like to move?
I suppose he'd stepped out, so he'd probably started there when. I think he won't move. I think he's too frozen in horror. They've just. So he's good there. He's fine.
Okay. Who's going next? Actually, you know what? Me's going next. I'm going to spend a fear and interact. So, as this rainbow sort of like bubble explodes out, Gannis is knocked back, but he recovers quickly, and then shouts seemingly to the sky, "Now, my lord, now!" he shouts. And Cal and Vanya, you're particularly astute observationalists. You feel like you watch as this wisp of like shadowy smoke descends into the rainbow bubble. But Gannis will join the initiative, and he's gonna go first. So Gannis steps round, and then spying the five of you, now that the crowd is beginning to disperse as they're sort of like running away screaming, because magic explosions are scary for people with like one hit point. Gannis sees the five of you, and like his face twists into a snarl, and he shouts to the gathered green robe wearing cultists. You realise, Don't let them in! Don't let them interrupt our lord! He shouts. And he will mark a stress, choose a point in far range, and the 5 of you feel the ground underfoot begin to rumble and reverberate. As the ground erupts underneath your feet, and I need everyone to make a agility reaction roll, please. Ravy bosses it. Oh wait, let me scroll.
Yeah, I totally bossed
Yeah,
it.
Ravy bosses it. Cal bosses it. Vanya does not boss it. Alfred does not boss it. Azakar does not boss it. Does Azakar want to spend prayer dice on people?
Yeah, we'll keep them for now.
Okay. In which case, so Vanya, Alfric, and Azkar, those who didn't roll 14 or more, you are flung directly away from the eruption. So Vanya, you kind of like bash into the side of the building that you're next to and kind of get wedged into the cart. Azakar, you're blown back to there, and you clatter into a commoner. This commoner is hurled away, and Alfric, you're flung forward into a commoner. Oof! And the 2 of you collapse to the ground. The 3 of you that were thrown from this eruption take 15 damage.
Oofa doofa.
And you can reduce damage. You can use your armor normally against that.
Yeah.
Gonna use an armor.
Use an armor.
Okay. And yeah, the ground just becomes this like tragically difficult to navigate bit of terrain.
Take that.
So yeah, any movement over this difficult terrain will require an agility check of some sort. So yeah, Gannis fires off those, it detonates the ground from under your feet. And yeah, he seems to be shouting to these green robe-wearing cultists who you realise are wearing similar kind of robes to those who came in through the portal. That is Gannis's turn. Who wants to take over?
I think Rayri, seeing Vinny disappear, is just gonna run at. Oh, my foundry went.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Is that everyone, or is that just me?
I think it's just you.
Yes.
Well, tell you what, were you going to run into portal?
I'm just gonna run to the portal.
Okay.
Just absolutely launch herself towards the portal.
Okay.
Just.
In which case, Cal, you watch as Rayri bolts past you into this like shifting rainbow-hued maelstrom that's just erupted from the ground in front of you, and Rayri. You're back now. Okay.
I'm
back. Materialize.
Oh, phew. He's still there.
You materialize in this distorted, crystalline reflection of Seldavon's town centre. Everything around, like the buildings around you, look like they're all in the same place, but as you glance around, you notice that the buildings are in various states of damage and destruction. There's the building sort of like immediately in front of you, the large kind of townhouse, that appears to have one corner of the building utterly demolished by perhaps siege weaponry, perhaps. There's rubble. You notice that behind you, just to your left, there appears to be like a body sprawled out on the floor. But you also hear the sounds of frantic fighting. And glancing behind you, you can see that there are clearly two sides of a battle engaged in combat in the street that you arrived in not minutes ago. Glancing around, you can see that all of the roads into this central area, there seems to be running street battles between who you assume to be defenders of Seldavon and some enemy invading force. And all of this pales in comparison to the image of the elderly Lorivar Archmage stood to your right, who is staring up at a coiled, winding, green-scaled dragon spawn that you immediately recognise as the one you saw in the memory.
I know that boy.
But what's curious is that hovering behind this crystalline manifestation of Eindrith is what appears to be a smaller, similarly rainbow glowing, smaller Eindrith.
Oh, he's got a little mini-me.
Mate.
He's got a little mate. He's got his own little Vinny.
Rayri, you have emerged in this mana memory of Seldavon, and you immediately acknowledge that this must be the final encounter between Ulick and Eindrith. And you know, based off what, as Alfric's told you, what Meridis has told you, that Eindrith was defeated in this battle.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do?
Yes, I'm gonna have to fight everyone. I think it's just like the overwhelming flood of relief that Vinny is there with me, and he is fine and he is alive. So I think that's the first, like, oh my god, you're alive, and then it's like, oh shit. So I will mount Vinny.
Okay.
Sorry, Dan. You're gonna put us back together again.
So you jump on Vinny's back.
And I think we're just gonna kind of get out the way a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna move out the way. Can I use a new spell that I have, please? So I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you still got your action and the like.
Fab, how far can I go? 1, 2. I want to go more this way. Let's go down here.
I will say that in order to, because you had to scamper to get into the portal in the first place.
Yeah, I'm not going to have a lot of movement, am I?
Yeah, so, well, give me an agility check if you want to move.
Move again. Okay, let's do an agility check.
But that would be your action as well.
Okay, that's fine. So that's a 16. Can I move myself sort of down here some? Would that be...
Yeah. Well, as you sort of like seeing this, like what seems to be the start of the battle between Eindrith and Ulick, and like you jump on Vinny, you spur Vinny on to like scamper off to the corner of this kind of destroyed building that you were just stood next to a moment ago. And yeah, you hear this low, reverberant, echoey voice. You have plagued me for too long, Lorivar. This ends today. And as you scoot and sort of like look over as the Eindrith uncoils and flies towards Ulick in a frenzy, as Ulick kind of brings this wand and staff to bear and lightning crackles from the ends of it. As you reach that corner, your vision crystallizes, cracks, and as you've rolled with fear, you are immediately jettisoned back into real space. And you kind of bump into this little Auran sprite that's just like a large chihuahua just appeared in front of her, and she, oh you screech to a halt. This Terran sprite on the other side of you looks to you and bloody wizards. But yeah, Rayri, you are back where you started for all intents and purposes. And that is your action, unfortunately.
That's fine. I'm just glad I'm alive.
Okay. But yes, it would seem that the Eindrith and Ulick fight is playing out, but there seems to be a smaller, diminished Eindrith also present in the fight. Who's going next?
Doubly bad.
Can Cal just be like, he has gone through like loads of emotions in the space of about 3 minutes. I don't even know how many seconds it was, but before he could even like go to stop Rayri, planning to plunge in after her to make sure she was okay, for her suddenly to just respawn next to him. I think that man is on the verge of a heart attack. He is relieved. He's like, don't do that again! But then also relieved that Vinny is also there. It's like, what happened? And he's like trying to do this whilst also trying to like figure out who he's fighting next, because he knows that we're about to get like attacked. Yeah. So he's just like trying to have a conversation with Rayri. So like trying to plan who is probably going to attack them next.
So I should mention, you would have seen this given that you were in sort of like real space, but when Rayri rematerialized effectively next to you, it was as if she had just run through like rainbow coloured stained glass. So like this like a crystalline shatter, and then the pieces just sort of like disappear, like melted into mana motes as Rayri kind of rematerialized.
It's like sword out, like, please don't run into portals again.
Well,
we don't know what they are.
We should go. Well, it's fine, wasn't it? Because I'm back here again, but I don't really know what happened. But it's like, you know, where it went all rainbow before, and then we were having a fight. Well, they were having a fight in the portal, and it's like that weird, like slithery man, and the guy, he's got two staves, and he's like, whoa! Except it's another little slivery one. There's like a double you know, what's his name? You know what I mean, you know?
Eindrith.
That's the one. He's in there, but there's like another one of him. I think we should go back in.
We should go back in.
Yeah,
you want me to go in the portal with you?
I just came back out again. It's fine, isn't it? You go in, you come out. It's easy.
You're going to be the death of me. Okay, let's go.
Cal, before you run in,
yeah.
Could I just spend an action very quickly?
Yeah, go. Please do.
Kind of overhearing as Azakar's picking himself up and hearing that you're going to run in. He still notices that you're quite hurt from the last fight. Before like as you're just about to rush in, he sort of grabs hold of your shoulder and he puts his hand on your chest, and emanates sort of like some divine light into you, and cures 2 of your hit points.
Thank you so much.
I will be a party pooper and say, because there's a move and an action, we'll just have Azakar take his turn now.
Yeah, that counts as an action.
Yeah,
so.
perfect.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so Azakar has just taken his turn while Rayri's been like supersonic explaining the plot. You know what? Oh, I've got loads of them. Azakar, as you heal Cal, before you get a chance to, well, before anyone gets a chance to do anything, one of the keepers that were keeping watch that are now sort of like flanking this large rainbow vortex, as far as the rest of you are concerned, it hasn't been very long since Gadda said, "Stop! Don't let them interfere with our lord." So one of the keepers strides forward, has this rune-covered like metallic rod in hand, and like the keeper grabs it with 2 hands, twists the rod, and it separates, and what appears to be this sort of like shimmering green metallic chain between the 2 halves of the rod effectively falls out into the ground, and I will spend another fear in order to use this ability. So I'm down to 3. And if I can have everyone within close, so that is everyone. Can I have? Well, it just happens. So these green chains kind of melt into the floor and then spring up from the ground underneath your feet, to sort of like wrap around your wrists and ankles, temporarily restraining you. When you go to activate, I will get a fear. You can break free of the restraints with a strength roll or by spending 2 hope. As these thick chains, magical chains, wrap around you.
Okay.
Cool.
Are they around Vinny?
Yes.
Yo.
Yeah. So you're all shackled. So that was who was that? That was his turn. So let's put him in the initiative. Adept. Okay, now who wants to go?
As I didn't actually get to take my go.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll now switch back to Cal.
That's cool. First off, he will react to the healing, which I think, as before the chains, like take their hands. I think Azakar's hand on his hand, he'll put over like as a thank you, and give him a very sincere. Yeah, basically, yeah. And then before they can really say anything, then the chains happen. But I think Cal is going to spend, is it 2 hope, you said?
Yeah.
Or a hope?
2 hope.
He'll spend his hope to like wrench himself away and say, I'm going. And he's going to use his action to jump into the portal.
I did forget for Ravi, but if I could have an agility check to get over get over the rubble.
He's a good agility boy, so it should be okay. I'm going to see, before you tell me that's wrong, I can reroll my hope die. How bad is my hope die?
6.
6. Go on.
I'll just do it. Let's do it. How do I? Oh, just roll with
Yeah, just roll a d6. A d12.
Okay, let's go. Same again. Alright, I had to take that anyway. Okay, so that's a... yeah.
You're doomed to be a 6.
Okay. Six. It is difficulty 14, so what I'll say is...
Would you like my final prayer dice?
Sure.
Bump that up to a 15.
Yes, please.
Okay.
There you go.
In which case, Azakar, as you watch as Cal sort of like strains against these magical chains, which then break.
Yeah.
There's
just a shirt rip open. His shirt rips open.
Just at the biceps. Just either that or Wolverine at the end of the Deadpool 3 film. Just explodes. But yeah, Cal breaks free of the chains, and as he goes to step, Azakar, you see that the ground underneath him is woefully kind of loose. And as you kind of will it on, Cal, you are able to find firmer footing in this moment, and you are able to use your full movement, which can take you to the portal.
In I go.
To the rift. Okay.
Into the rift.
And as you disappear into the rainbow miasma, scroll, you emerge in this crystalline hellscape version of the town square you were just in. And as I described that, currently you are worryingly close to an archmage who is... There's a whip of lightning coming from the end of his staff. There's what appears to be like a blade of mana emerging from the wand, which is now holding like a sword shaft, as he's sort of like fending off and dueling with this dragon that's kind of like whirling round him, trying to confuse him by attacking from all directions. There's claws and like clamps of the jaws as Ulix fending off. And all while this happens, you see this smaller this smaller version of Eindrith lurking in the background.
Little guy. Get the little guy.
Get the little one.
The agility check was your action, so that like you are in. Please take a hope if you haven't already for that agility roll. Who wants to go next? I think it's just Vanya next.
Alfred, is Alfred already gone?
Started off with the.
Yeah, I was the levitating.
Yeah.
So
then.
So Vanya,
It's just my fault.
So Vanya, you're kind of like caught in the corner. You've got these chains wrapped around you, but like you can either do a strength check or you spend 2 hope.
I'll do a strength check.
Okay.
Is that my action to do though?
It is.
I can't do anything else. So yeah, I'll have to spend my action to break out the chains.
Okey-dokey.
Strength check. Don't have any hopes. Can't do anything. 14.
Okay. This time it's even more graphic because Vanya doesn't have sleeves, but like muscles bulge as you like cross your arms and the chains snap and fade away as the mana is dispelled. But yeah, you are now free to move.
The only thing I can do is I'm seeing people run in to the portal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand much of what's going on. Vanya's just okay. Just
I feel like the discussion was loud enough that you'd have been able to hear.
Okay.
So I think
cool.
you heard Rayleigh be like, "I'm back in the portal."
Yeah. I'll move 30 foot into the portal.
Okay.
So I do reach with my 30 foot.
I think you grasped big slithery man and smaller slithery man. In portal.
So if you move yourself to the centre of the portal, I will teleport you across.
Oh. Come on. 10 movement collides with at least one more.
Oh, yeah, hang on. Let me... Yeah, Vanya can vault a cart.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Runs through it.
He just bashes it on the way like a hawk.
No. Vanya takes the long route. Hold. There we go. Okay, and
Vanya runs across time and space.
you materialize also in this sort of like crystalline amalgam of the town center. I mean, certainly. Well, now the two of you are here, you're able to take in just how much larger how far does this extend? That this crystalline memory, it's certainly larger than what you saw in the Temple of Naravid, and that was a whole temple. But yeah, as you look around Vanya, like your senses are almost screaming at you because everything just seems like wrong and distorted. The cries of battle from behind you coming through as if someone's shouting at you through multiple panes of glass. But yeah, you have emerged to find Cal looking up at this dragon spawn fighting this archmage. Your action was to break free, so that's your action.
And that was my move.
Yeah, and you roll with fear, so I will now I will activate as two of you have jumped through the portal. Gannis looks up to the roofs and now you fools! And Rayri, Azakar, and Alfric, you watch as two figures vault from the roofs. One sort of like bounces on the cart and then drops to the ground next to you, Alfric. And this cultist Fang will mark a stress. And Alfred, can you please make me an instinct reaction roll?
Yes. 12.
Okay.
With fear.
So we won't have to worry about the fear, but as this cloaked figure jumps down, you notice he's wearing a mask. He has these two sort of like wrist-mounted blades attached to his forearms. But as he pounces down, he seemingly almost like he has two hands on your shoulders, has you in this firm grip, and Azakar and Rayri, you hear this as this cultist Fang and Alfric vanish and rematerialize on the other side of the square in the shadow of the townhouse.
What is this timey-wimey? Portally-waterly. Bullshit.
As Alfric, I also need you to mark 2 stress, please.
Teleport stress.
Teleport stress. The seconds, I will now add him to the initiative tracker. Initiative tracker! The second one leaps down and... Let's do it to Alfric. To Azakar.
Alfric again.
Azakar, can I have a 50 an instinct reaction roll, please? And I'll spend a fear to activate this second guy.
14 with hope.
14. So 14 is a fail. So the two Rayri, you watch as Azakar is pounced upon by this sort of like cultist assassin, and Azakar, the two of you, bamf. Ooh.
Off the map.
Off the map. Yeah, Azakar, you are teleported into this sort of like little cul-de-sac wedged between two buildings. You kind of emerge out the shadows. Please also mark 2 stress as these two assassins kind of separate you all. That's my turn. I'm gonna move it on to round 2. Who wants to start the round?
Can Alfric respond to this sudden portaling? Which he was not. He did not approve. Oh, I vanished.
We've got you. There you are.
Where am I? There I am. I was on another side of the map. He is going because I assume he's still being held by this cultist.
So the cultists have sort of like let you go now that you've teleported. Yeah. But you've realised that in letting you go, you are now open to stabbings.
Stabbings and smatchings. He is going to cast Runic Circle. Creates a temporary magical circle on the ground around me. Any creature in melee range circle who enter range take 2d12 plus 4 magic damage and are pushed out at the end of their action.
Oh wow! Okay. Is that does it just appear, or do you have to roll for that?
I think it just happens.
So it's people within melee range, and they get pushed to.
They get pushed out of the circle. It doesn't say, so I assume they get pushed out of melee range.
Yeah, just okay. Fine. So yeah. As you describe to me what this magic circle looks like as I create your circle.
I think Alfric would have been grabbed while he's still holding his violin, levitating the crystal. So I think it's kind of been clutched to him as he was grabbed, and then as he was pulled out, he's been able to kind of like do one long shrieking musical note, and it's kind of exploded outward into the circle at his feet of sort of glowing blue light.
Okay. And this cultist will take... so if you roll your 2d12 plus 4 magic damage,
Yes, I think that's... Yes. 17.
17 damage. That is severe. Okay. So this assassin, what type of like magic damage do you expect this to be?
That's a good question. I assume if it's musical damage, then it feels like it's bludgeoning damage. If he's being forced by, or do you mean what element?
I could imagine almost like perhaps slicing winds.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, in which case, this fang of Wender High is positively shredded. So when he finally stumbles out, he looks awful. He looks like he's just suffered severe damage and is not enjoying himself. But yeah, he's blown back, like collides with the floor heavily as you sort of like this magical rune circle erupts from you, like from the ground around you. Very good. Are you moving or are you staying put in your circle?
I will stay put in my circle now that I've been taken across the map.
Sure. Who wants to go next?
When Azakar and Alfric bamfed, would Rary have any idea of where they went, or was it literally like whoop?
You watch the two of them descend into their own shadows.
Okay, so they just wouldn't know where they went.
They have melted into the ground.
But, only one thing left to do then, which is jump into a portal.
Okay.
Well, or do I want to...
Well, so you're currently still chained, bear in mind, so it's 2 hope or a strength check.
Yeah. I forgot my... I'll spend my last 2 hope because my strength is not it. Does that mean that's my action, so I can only move?
No, so because you're spending the hope, that isn't an action. Because obviously that's a bit expensive thing to pay. So you're able to sort of like wiggle your way out. It will be, because you're on the rubble, it will be an agility roll too.
No ways. Do I want to go to the portal, or do I want to give Gannis and Noogie on my way out? No, I just jump in. Let's just go. Just go for it. Just go for it.
Gannis stood there going, "Why is no one stopping these fools?"
He's small fry. He's absolute small fry. So agility roll.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yes.
Yeah.
17.
You're absolutely fine. You've rolled. So I'll take the fear. So let me add that on, and then I move to you, and then I pick you up, and you materialize. Bam! You emerge once again into the crystal scape, where Ulick and Eindrith are currently fighting. That's your action and your move. I will spend the fear to interrupt. And I think, because, you know, there's 3 of you here now. We're going to watch... We're going to activate Eindrith. And first of all, he's going to claw and bite Ulick. He rolls a 13, which isn't a hit. He goes to clamp down on the mage, but the warding shield holds firm, and Ulick fends him off. Snarling, he moves backwards away from the Archmage, and you realise that the Archmage is between you and the Dragonspawn. And I will spend another fear to basically give myself an additional activation. And Eindrith breathes deep and then unleashes a gaseous breath attack. And you watch the air sort of like distorting as this breath flies towards you. And as you find yourself in the path of this breath attack, and you kind of naturally go to shield yourself, I reckon we'll call it there.
He's gonna get us. Instincts 19.
So
That's a massive reaction roll. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So
19? Jesus.
we'll just leave that there for next time. If you are enjoying this, or you are wondering what's going to happen to our poor intrepid adventurers, make sure to follow us on Twitch, hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, and just have a little check of our stuff. We're going to be back doing another live stream in a fortnight's time. And that will be the finale of this this tale of Dragonwrath. So yeah, very, very excited for all of that. Yeah, we'll be fine. You'll be fine. Everyone survived a dragon breath, right?
Maybe. If I do really good at my rolling.
maybe. Yes. So we'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, those of you watching, and hello to the new people in chat. It's good to have you along. Thank you, you five, for playing. Oh, you know what? Oh, it's
Level up again.
Level up again. Yeah. No, I reckon you deserve the outro music. Cool. We'll get that outro music on. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. Make sure to tune back in for the next episode, and have a look at our stuff to see all the other actual plays and live streams that we've done in the past as well. Campaign 3, we have a release date for it, so news of that will be coming up soon. Very excited for that as well. But oh yes, there we are. Yes. Thank you all. Sorry, getting distracted. ADHD brain. Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Bye 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 bye.
Bye bye.